Diversification today on the Daily Ish Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Daily Ish Show, a show not just for rental housing providers. Anybody looking to have a little bit more white space on your calendar, it is so good to see you. And we are on Baby Watch 2022. I will keep you all apprised as when baby Liliana is coming. It looks like we're going to be induced on the 9th, which is super, super cool. So anyway, if you're watching this on replay, you may actually see it after she's born. So thanks for the prayers and well wishes from everybody. But today, let's get to it. We are talking about the diversification trap. And you're like, oh, I don't like traps, coach. All right, well, let's talk about it because I often get into conversations with folks. Well, okay, well, I think diversification is good. This is why I need to buy all these different types of properties and different investments. Well, generally, it goes something like this. I got on a call the other day actually with an investor who had rental properties, was doing some house flips, was doing some wholesale deals, was doing some lending, right? Some private lending, and also was looking to get into syndications. Now, I'm not going to lie, I was pretty impressed. I was like, wow. I mean, especially on their ability to manage all of these different businesses, right? Until I realized that they weren't managing all of these different businesses. They were doing all of these different businesses. And guess what? They were worn out. I mean, they said they loved how much they're doing real estate and doing deals. And then when I asked them how they felt, why they felt the need to do all these different things and spend all this energy away from their children and away from their spouse and all this time, when they really said, well, I'm doing it because I'm doing it for my family, all this other stuff. When I said, why do you feel the need to do all these different things and not just stick with one asset class, get it running, and then go on to another asset class? And they said it was all in the name of diversification. All right, I get it. Okay, now again, this is confession, not judgment, because I did the same exact thing. But here's what I want. I want to make this point. I'm going to make this point a couple different times. Diversification of assets is only good up to the point where it starts to diversify your attention. When I get people coming to me, okay, as a strategic small business coach, it's usually because they're interested in the VIP method. Now, if you've not seen this show before, let's go through it real fast. They see the strategic benefit of creating a vision for what they want, right? From a top-down perspective, they see that they want to create a vision for what they want their life to look like, and putting the infrastructure and processes in place. They're going to reverse engineer a business. That becomes the system. That all stays in alignment with their vision for the future, right? Makes a lot of sense. Most of the folks that I'm running into, these small business entrepreneurs, that are incredibly smart. They are incredibly hardworking. They have an amazing work ethic, but unfortunately, most are incredibly misled when it comes to this idea of diversification. Okay, now let me point this out. Diversification is an incredibly important tool to manage risk. Right? Let me make an example that's used in the investing world. Okay, like we'll just talk about stocks and bonds, that sort of thing. So if you have, for example, if you're investing in stocks and in bonds, right? Stocks right now are unfortunately getting beat up. So there's a lot of people who may be investing in bonds, right? But something called TIPS, which are Treasury Inflation Protected Securities, right? Those are just basically bonds that are sold and they're indexed to inflation. Okay. So once you get your portfolio set, right? So you're going to say, okay, I'm going to allocate this much to equities and this much to TIPS. Once you buy them, right, there's really not a whole heck of a lot to do except to rebalance your portfolio once every 6 months or so, right? Now, something like this would be considered a diversified portfolio, right? There's a hedge for one asset class when it goes down while the other one is going up, right? So, by the way, let me just make this point. For those of you who are out there who are actively trading, okay, and you're under the impression that you can beat the stock market, well, I not only have you created a job for yourself with that, but just so you know, only 4% of actively managed mutual funds beat the S&P 500 every year. 4%, right? And all of them not just the 4% that did beat the S&P 500, have access to massively more sophisticated tools and timely information than you do, right? So keep in mind, the 4% that beat the market last year are rarely the same 4% that's going to beat it this year. Sorry to tell you, but for equities, buying an index fund and holding it long term is generally the way to go for guys like you and me. But anyway, this is not the type of diversification I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the multiple streams of income argument I hear all the time that millionaires have, okay? Which is true. According to a 2018 article from CNBC, 65% of millionaires have three sources of income. 45% have four sources or more, okay? The problem with this article, though, is it doesn't tell the whole story. It doesn't factor in the amount of attention it takes for each of these revenue streams to be maintained. Okay. From what I see and from the people that I coach and talk to every single day, I suspect that some do it okay, but most unfortunately don't. No, what I typically see when people come to me is what they look like this. Okay. A person or married couple who is stressed out, overworked, and the owner operators of several or more businesses who do this in the name of diversification. Okay, now let me make this point. Diversification of assets is only good up to the point where it starts to diversify your attention. So, what I see oftentimes is people investing in completely different asset classes, which serve a completely different avatar. So, in the small business world, what I see this when a contractor, for example, and I work for all different types of small business owners, not just people who are in the buy and hold investing space or landlords. But we'll use this as an example with a contractor who might be great at interior remodeling. Okay, and he decides he wants to diversify and start building decks and pergolas for a new home builder that just started in the area. Okay, all they have done is engage in task switching, also known as multitasking, when in reality, all it's doing is diversifying and fragmenting his attention, right? Now, look, if you have the infrastructure and processes up and running where your interior remodeling business can operate without you, great. Go build decks and pergolas. You have an income stream that can run without you and without your every input, right? Now, let's take this to the realm of real estate for just a second. Okay. Now, I see this in the case of a residential client avatar versus a commercial client avatar. Okay. Now, when I say avatar, it's just a fancy way for saying like who your ideal client is, who you're trying to serve. Okay. So if you have the infrastructure and processes to handle your residential clients where you don't have to involve yourself in the day-to-day functions, fantastic. You have a business that mostly runs without you. Great. Go find another avatar to serve, right? But if your residential avatar is being served by your existing company, and you have to recognize that a commercial avatar is different. They have different needs. And thinking that you're going to attract and service a commercial avatar on one that is built for residential, look, I'm going to be honest with you, you might be setting yourself up for failure. The reality is there usually is no infrastructure, though, right? When I'm talking to these folks who are coming to me, there's no processes, there's no system. Usually it's one person, sometimes a husband and wife, who comes to me who is so worn out, so tired, so emotionally compromised, emotionally bankrupt because they've been working like a dog trying to do all these little jobs, right? When in effect they've done is they've created multiple jobs for themselves, again, like little dozens of little jobs usually, and they're not sure where they're going to go or what they want to do, right? Ask me how I know, because that's exactly where I was back in '08. It's like they signed up for a marathon where there's no established finish line. And all of this is done under the lie of diversification. Now remember, diversification of assets is only good up to the point where it starts to diversify and diminish your attention. So what do? All right, look, pick the most valuable business that you have and get it up and running. Build one bridge first. Build one bridge at a time. Use the knowledge that you gain from building that bridge, walk back across that bridge, and build the second bridge. Don't try to build all 7 bridges all at one time, right? Get a clear vision for your future. What are you doing this for? Then create the business vision. Once your personal vision is in place, then you create the business vision. And I mean it. Personal vision must come first. If you create a business vision before you create a personal vision, you're going to end up creating a life that exists to serve the business. Right? Let me say that again. If you create a business vision before you create a personal vision, you're going to end up creating a life that exists to serve the business. A VA named Tristan, who works for one of my clients, said this another way. I got on a call with her today. If you create a business vision first, well, your business vision becomes your personal vision, right? How sad yet true. Then, once that's done, then you create the infrastructure and the processes and procedures that are all going to stay in alignment with your vision for the future. Now, I know this sounds a lot easier said than done, but if you need help, just reach out, right? Head over to landlordcoach.com. We'll hop on a call. We'll figure it out. All right. That's all I have for today, folks. I hope you have an awesome weekend. We got some, let's see here. Labor Day is coming soon. Yes, Labor Day is coming soon. We actually postponed Labor Day, right? So anyway, that's all I have for today, folks. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate you and appreciate all the well wishes and prayers for Jen for the time to go quickly. I know she is very ready to have baby Liliana join our world, and just pray for her comfort and a smooth delivery. All right. Well, that's all I have. So have a great weekend and be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome weekend. And I'll see you next time.